Hey guys, Michael Clark here with BAM Weather in the Weather Portal. In this video, we are going to talk about the Probabilities tab. We're going to explain what it means, how it works, and how you can use it, how this data can be effectively used for each one of your locations. We get a lot of questions about this, so I'm looking forward to kind of helping you understand how to use this data and how to navigate through it. So the Probabilities tab in your app, if you're unaware, you would go to the location that you're monitoring, and you would just click on the Probabilities tab of the application, and it would pull up this table. Now, you're going to see four sections here. All right, you're going to see the most likely outcome. You're going to see the 75% chance, the 25% chance, and the 10% chance. Now, I want to explain this very carefully to you. The most likely outcome is essentially, it's the safe bet. It's the bet that most computer ensembles are seeing this number as the outcome. When I say that, what happens is we have over 90 different weather ensembles in this situation. What this would mean is essentially, 46 of those or more would be suggesting that this outcome, 46 or more computer models out of 90 say this category is the most likely outcome. Here's the problem with that way of doing it. Okay, it's a smoothed out ensemble mean, which means it's going to have a hard time detecting the extreme outcomes. All right, because there's so many computer models, they smooth it out, and the average or the most likely at times can also become less likely. It can become less accurate, and this happens all the time. So that's why we have these categories of more extreme outcomes. Okay, so in this instance, where you see the 75% chance or the 25% chance, this is essentially saying that there's a 25% probability of at least the value shown occurring for your location. So for example, there's a 25% probability of 91 degrees, but the most likely is 86. It means that we have a few ensembles out of 90, probably somewhere around 10 or 15 of them, that are suggesting temperatures could be over 90 degrees, where they could overachieve. In the most extreme case, 10 ensembles or less at times, 10 out of 90, okay, keep in mind. This is the easiest way for me to explain this to you, would fall into this category of very extreme, but there's only a 10% chance of it happening. So the likelihood is much lower, but it's not out of the question. It's the same for every variable in the table. If you tap this, you'll go to temperature minimum. If you tap it again, you go to rainfall. I want to explain rainfall to you. In the summertime, hit and miss rainfall patterns, or the haves and the have-nots, a lot of times the most likely category is probably going to read 0. Okay? Because most of the computer models, they're smoothed out. They're not seeing the extremities in the pattern, the pop-up thunderstorm activity. They just can't see it. It's a limitation of the data. So some of the higher res or the more aggressive ensemble members can sniff this out. This is a perfect example if you're looking at the 14th and 15th on Saturday's forecast, where you have some cases here of a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain are not out of the question. In this forecast, in this summertime pattern, it's most certainly possible if you get under a thunderstorm Saturday here with high dew point values, high heat, high temperatures, what's going to happen is you're probably going to get a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain. Okay, that's not going to be out of the question. So that's how these forecast values can essentially help you understand the risk in the forecast. All right, just because it says most likely, yes, it's possible that is the most likely outcome, but in certain situations, these extreme ensemble members can become very useful when forecasting rainfall and when forecasting snow and ice as well. I want you to think about something. In situations where flooding or flash flooding is possible, you get under heavier rain events and more extreme ensemble members, and you start seeing 4 and 5 inch rainfall totals in the 25 and the 10% categories, and you already have a most likely of 2 inches, it's not out of the question those totals can easily verify. Models don't do well with flooding and flash flooding events, so you can get good information of extreme events in these two far right categories, which is why I wanted to show these to you. That's why I wanted them in the application. It can nail down extremities and patterns that the normal computer models can't. Now, just like the daily, just like the 36-hour, we don't control this data. So we can't make it right, we can't make it wrong. What the computer model says is what we present you. As always, it's very important that you continue to watch the video forecast and you use that chat function. You go into the chat, you swipe up to refresh it and make sure there's nothing new in there for you to see. That's where the more pertinent, where the more accurate, actionable information is going to be found, is going to be in that chat section of the application, no doubt about it. So this has been the tutorial of the Probabilities tab. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. The Probabilities tab can be confusing, but I think if you go back and watch what I said, it breaks it down to be a little bit more simplified for you, and it's something that no other provider offers. Thanks for checking out this forecast video, or this update video, if you will, and let us know if you have questions.